Let's give honor to God as we always do at the beginning and the end of our shows. I want to welcome everybody back to A Choice Podcast. This is our 11th episode titled Problems. It's simple. We all have them. Problems. Some of us have major problems. Some of us have smaller problems. But no matter what kind of problem it is, we all have them in our lives. Nobody's life is without problems. It would be impossible. And if you tell me that you have never experienced or never had a problem or don't have any problems in your life, then stay away from me because the truth is not in you. Problems are something that come, but we have the ability to choose how these problems define us. We can let them overcome us, succumb to our problems, give up, let the problems win, or we can make a choice to overcome our problems. But either way, there's work that needs to be done. It's not an easy task in tackling your problems. Now, some problems that people deal with and have are self-inflicted. Let's just call it what it is. When you make choices and decisions and things don't turn out the way you want it to, you have to take a deep dive into it and understand what part you played in creating this problem. Sometimes when problems arise, you have a choice to de-escalate the problem or escalate it. Well, what do you mean? I mean that something could be so small and so simple that you can fix it easily, but instead you make a choice to do otherwise, and the problem is compounded and becomes even bigger. But no matter how big the problem is, it can be overcome, it can be conquered, and it too shall pass. So many times we try to do the woe is me thing and try to figure out, why do these things keep happening to me? I always tell people, and I've had to learn this for myself. Trust me, I've done a self-evaluation. I continue to do it every day because I'm nowhere near perfect. I have problems in my life, but I will not let the problems I have define me. I heard a lot of people say, well, I'm a product of my environment. I used to be one of those that say that I'm a product of my environment. And some of that may be true, but my choices also made me a product of my environment. Because even though there was people breaking the law and doing things in my neighborhood, trying to make a living and survive the best way that they know how, I had a choice even at that young age to either partake in it or to become what some would call an outcast, like a nerd or a geek or whatever derogatory term, is used to define a person that is not keeping it real, as we say. But I had to learn over time that the choices I make impact my life and others in more ways than I had ever realized. And it wasn't until God started opening my eyes to these things that I started understanding. No matter what comes your way, problems are going to be here today. Problems are going to be here tomorrow. Problems are going to be here next year. Problems are going to be here. But it doesn't matter about the problem. It matters about how you act or how you choose to act when the problem comes and when the problem's gone. Because sometimes it's just as simple as talking to God and asking Him to help you see a way to make it through this problem. I stopped asking Him to remove my problem. Because, see, the problem arises probably with some of my choices or just for another reason. But whatever it is, I stopped asking God to remove the problem. And what I started doing is asking Him to help me through this problem. Help me solve this problem. Walk with me to find a solution to this problem. And a lot of the times, God will lead you right back to yourself. And I know it's hard to admit that, hey, am I really a problem? Did I cause this or whatever? Sometimes the words we use, sometimes the way we think, sometimes the things we say, sometimes the attitude we display leads to problems, especially if God is not in it. So I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to what's the name, but I'm just here because I made a choice to start having conversations. And the conversations are to wake us up and understand that without God, we're always going to run into problems. But with Him, we can overcome a lot of things. And you can say that, well, I don't believe that's on you. Well, that's your problem. And you're going to have to deal with that. But my problem is that I stopped believing that I can fix everything in my life and know that I need God to help me fix some of the things in my life. Like I needed Him to help me change my attitude. I needed Him to help me start changing the way that I talk. Because at one point in my life, every other word out my mouth was a cuss word. And I had to learn that we curse and we do things like that because we don't have the words that we want to use at the time to express how we're feeling or what we're going through. You may agree, you may disagree, but that's the way I see it. But once I started putting those words to the side and I actually started taking time to know myself a little better and just try to change and allow God to start doing some of the changing also inside of me. Listen, I'm not perfect. I will continually say that I'm not. And you may say, oh, well, he's on here, this and this and this, but I've seen this, I've heard this or whatever. Listen, that's your problem you have to deal with. All I can do is bring it to the forefront, tell you how I see it from my perspective, and maybe you can tell me how you see it from yours, and we can have a debate, a conversation, and it's fine. And if we don't agree with each other, that's fine too. See, sometimes people don't agree with each other, and you want somebody to see it the way you want to see it, and it becomes a problem. But me, everybody has an opinion. There's an old saying, I'm not going to say it on here, but I think y'all can figure it out. Opinions are like, bam. But for me, I had to learn to respect everybody's opinion because you're not going to think the way I think. You're not going to react the way I react. You're not going to do the things that I want you to do. I need to be worried about me. What am I going to do? How am I going to react? How am I going to overcome my situations, my problems? How am I going to let God in to help me through my situations, guide me through my life, help me through? You know, you had a lot of artists musically that made songs. Jay-Z said, I got 99 problems. Biggie said, more money, more problems. You know, so problems have always existed. They're always going to be there, and that's okay. Just understand that God is bigger than any problem or any situation that you deem as a problem in your life. I believe that if you would just trust, if you would believe and have faith, then anything you're going through, you can overcome. Remember, you are more. You are more. And I'll say that again. You are more than a conqueror. You are an overcomer, and you can overcome any situation, any problem that ever arises in your life. I thank you so much for going along with our 11th episode of our podcast, A Choice. And just remember, you have a choice to be better than you was yesterday, to open your arms and allow God in. Just want to thank God in closing just for being who He is. It's not for the things that He done, but just because of who He is. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next episode. Please like and share. Go on the YouTube page, Gene Gillies, A Choice Podcast. Please subscribe, like and everything, and repost. You know, I'll see y'all later. Y'all have an awesome day. And remember, you are bigger than your problems, and God is bigger than your problems.